You lay in bed. You stare at the ceiling. You play a 5-second interaction from hours ago. You cringe at your own harmless words. You twist your blanket in absolute frustration. You feel your heart race violently in the dark. You sweat over a tiny, insignificant social mistake. You think this painful process means you are highly self-aware? You are completely wrong. Your own brain is gaslighting you right now. This microscopic midnight habit drains 90% of your daily mental energy. It steals your baseline confidence. It paralyzes your entire social life. Society tells you to simply stop overanalyzing everything. Society lies to you. You cannot just turn off this panic with cheap fake positivity. Your neural pathways are actively hijacked by a severely outdated primal survival mechanism. Your mind literally believes you are facing severe physical danger. It forces you to aggressively obsess over meaningless tiny details. It punishes you for merely being an imperfect human. You suffer in total, isolating silence. You hide this massive internal exhaustion behind a perfectly polite smile every single day. You blame your own personality. You question your most basic social skills. I will explain the exact neuroscience behind this unseen psychological torture. I will reveal the specific brain network directly responsible for your late-night misery. I will show you exactly how to rule your deeply ingrained mental responses. You deserve to finally sleep without carrying this crushing guilt. You need to deeply understand this biological glitch before it completely destroys your future. Your peace of mind literally depends on this exact clinical knowledge. Listen very closely. Do you violently flinch when you suddenly remember a tiny social slip from yesterday? Do you frantically scan their faces for invisible signs of harsh judgment? Do you obsessively wonder if they noticed your slight nervous stutter? Do you actively convince yourself that your colleagues secretly despise you? You stand silently in the office elevator. You awkwardly miss a very simple social cue. You vividly imagine their cruel thoughts about you for the next 3 consecutive days. You exhaust yourself trying to magically read their minds. Stop right there. This is not emotional intelligence. You do not possess any telepathic superpowers. You are experiencing a severe cognitive distortion. Clinical psychologists call this exhausting mental trap rumination. Your primitive brain falsely identifies a minor perceived social slight as a literal physical death threat. Let me explain. In ancient tribal times, social rejection literally meant isolation and brutal starvation. Therefore, your deeply ingrained primal defense mechanism wildly overwroughts to keep you safely accepted inside the modern tribe. It forces you to endlessly analyze every single microexpression. Society loudly claims you are just being incredibly weak and overly sensitive. Modern neuroscience completely disproves this toxic lie. Your nervous system is simply misfiring under artificial corporate pressure. You are hallucinating their negative judgmental thoughts out of pure evolutionary panic. They do not care about your deeply awkward silent pause. They are frantically surviving their own terrifying mental loops. You must realize this painful mental rehearsal serves absolutely zero logical purpose today. Your brain is running a severely outdated survival script. It deliberately magnifies your tiny flaws to prevent a tribal banishment that will never happen. This relentless inner critic is not a reflection of your actual social worth. It is merely a biological glitch demanding your immediate attention. You cannot change the past by obsessively destroying your present peace. Does your stomach violently knot when a chatty coworker approaches your desk? You immediately frizzy. You literally forget to breathe. You force a stiff, painful smile onto your face. You eat at your 3 agonizing minutes of pointless weather talk. You nod aggressively, deeply pretending to care. You forcefully LAUGH at absolutely terrible, unfunny jokes. You finally escape to the nearest empty bathroom. You completely collapse inward, staring blankly at the mirror. Your social battery is completely dead. You feel physically, thoroughly destroyed by a simple morning greeting. Extroverted society brutally labels you as unapproachable, deeply awkward, or just painfully shy. That is a complete, toxic lie. Your brain is currently enduring a severe chemical attack. Small talk is not a basic networking skill for you. It is a literal, exhausting battle for physical survival. When you actively engage in forced, superficial conversations, your amygdala instantly panics. It falsely identifies this casual chat as a high-stakes, dangerous interrogation. It desperately screams for immediate, urgent help. Your adrenal glands relentlessly flood your entire bloodstream with heavy cortisol. You are literally fighting a biological war inside your own trembling body. Your palms uncontrollably sweat. Your throat intentionally constricts to protect your vital airways. Your heart violently pounds against your chest. This massive internal battle rapidly burns huge amounts of raw metabolic energy. You do not lack basic, necessary conversational skills. You are simply surviving severe, completely invisible burnout. You are silently hemorrhaging pure mental energy just to successfully appear normal to oblivious strangers. You force your brain to manually process every single word. You calculate the exact perfect time to maintain eye contact. This relentless microstress completely shatters your daily focus. Stop feeling guilty about your deeply exhausted mind. You successfully escape that terrifying hallway conversation, but you immediately shrink back into the nearest corner. Somebody completely carelessly BMs into your shoulder at the coffee machine. You instantly blurt out a high-pitched, panicked apology. You fiercely whisper, "I am so sorry," for merely occupying empty physical space. You constantly apologize to the rude waiter. You unnecessarily apologize to your own damn shadow. You actively minimize your entire physical presence. You falsely believe this pathetic, exhausting habit makes you incredibly polite. Wake up right now. Apologizing constantly is not a shining sign of deep respect. It is a desperate, unconscious plea for basic safety. You are unknowingly broadcasting severe imposter syndrome to the entire office. Your primitive brain actively chooses a highly submissive stance to avoid imaginary attacks. It rapidly lowers your vocal pitch. It forcefully commands your shoulders to slump forward. It forces you to yield your ground. You subconsciously surrender your hard-earned territory to avoid any potential conflict. You aggressively raid your own social status. Evolutionary psychology explains this painful, embarrassing phenomenon perfectly. In the brutal, unforgiving wild, weaker primates routinely submit to aggressive alphas to survive another day. You are automatically playing that exact same primitive, pathetic role. You completely submit before the argument even begins. This constant verbal retreating completely destroys your professional authority. You literally invite aggressive colleagues to deeply disrespect you. You willingly hand them the loaded weapon. They gladly take it. You cannot ever build true confidence while your mouth continuously begs for completely unneeded forgiveness. Stop automatically retreating. If you are sighing deeply right now, I strongly need you to pause and breathe. You are not broken, and you are not completely alone in this painfully exhausting daily fight. Millions of highly intelligent, perfectly capable people are suffering silently under this exact same invisible psychological torture. Your daily mental pain is entirely valid, and it is completely biologically real. You have finally found your safe, deeply understanding tribe right here. Subscribe to this channel right now to continuously free your hijacked brain from toxic societal expectations. Go directly to the comments below and actively type this exact protective vow to yourself. I refuse to gaslight my own mind ever again. Say it loudly. Now, let us examine your most exhausting, deeply secret daily performance. You step into the bright, overwhelmingly loud office environment. You instantly put on a perfectly crafted, artificially cheerful social mask. You forcefully brighten your heavy, genuinely tired eyes. You strictly modulate your natural voice to sound incredibly enthusiastic, friendly, and approachable. You actively suppress your true, completely drained and overwhelmed personality. You mistakenly call this deceptive behavior essential workplace professionalism. Modern neuroscientists accurately call this dangerous habit chronic social camouflaging. This constant fake acting heavily depletes your extremely limited neural resources every single passing hour. Your exhausted brain must constantly monitor your tiny facial muscles, your vocal pitch, and your physical posture simultaneously. It is frantically running 50 heavy invisible background applications at once, rapidly draining your core battery. You are literally burning out your highly sensitive prefrontal cortex just to appear perfectly acceptable to a judgmental society. You deeply feel entirely hollow, physically numb, and utterly lifeless by 5 p.m. You desperately collapse onto your safe couch at home. You cannot even muster the basic physical energy to reply to a simple, friendly text message. You deeply hate yourself for this severe nighttime paralysis. Stop doing that immediately. You are not simply lazy, selfish, or secretly antisocial. You are actively surviving profound, clinically documented neurological exhaustion. Your vital social battery is violently destroyed by constantly playing a fake, highly agreeable character all day long. This specific, brutal truth will deeply hurt your ego. You must carefully hear it anyway. You deeply believe everyone perfectly remembers your tiny, insignificant social mistake. You completely panic over a totally clumsy, awkward morning greeting. You silently suffer for endless, agonizing hours tonight. The absolute, undeniable truth is incredibly harsh. Nobody actually cares about your supposedly flawless, perfect social performance. They do not vividly remember your exact, slightly nervous words from 8 long hours ago. They are not secretly judging your deeply awkward, highly uncomfortable silence. They completely forget that entirely meaningless, incredibly brief interaction almost immediately. You are literally fighting a completely fake, purely non-existent ghost inside your own head. The vast, indifferent universe does not actively revolve around your minor daily social flaws. You are unknowingly suffering from a massive psychological trap accurately called the spotlight effect. You falsely assume a blinding theatrical spotlight constantly shines directly on your every single move. You obsessively overrate your own personal daily importance to completely oblivious, extremely busy strangers. You are completely, tragically self-obsessed in your own hidden, exhausting mental anxiety. I am not verbally attacking you. Your physical brain is purely gaslighting you without your conscious permission. Modern clinical neuroscience accurately calls this the default mode network. This specific, incredibly powerful neural circuit heavily activates when you do not have an engaging, immediate physical task. You finally sit alone in your quiet, incredibly dark bedroom. Your DMN suddenly wakes up with terrifying, aggressive metabolic energy. It actively scans your entire recent past for potential, completely imaginary tribal threats. It violently digests up a completely meaningless 5-second memory from yesterday. It brutally forces you to endlessly analyze every microscopic, totally harmless facial twitch. It actively mucks your intelligence. It strictly punishes you for displaying completely normal, totally unavoidable human clumsiness. Your deeply exhausted, overloaded brain is severely malfunctioning right now. It is merely running a broken, heavily corrupted, primitive survival program. Stop fiercely believing this massive, devastating neurological lie. You are safely, peacefully alone. Nobody is aggressively watching your invisible flaws. You must completely drop this heavy, utterly useless illusion. The very next time this vicious mental loop begins, you must stop arguing with your own thoughts. You cannot use basic logic to successfully defeat a primal biological panic. You must aggressively hijack your physical nervous system instead. Welcome to the proven, empowering science of neuroplasticity. You actually possess the immense natural power to physically rule your highly anxious brain. When your default mode network violently attacks your quiet peace tonight, immediately stand up. Do not hesitate for a single second. Walk straight into your nearest bathroom. Turn on the cold water tap. Splash freezing, icy water directly onto your bare face. This incredibly simple, highly aggressive physical action instantly shocks your mighty vagus nerve. It firmly commands your overactive amygdala to completely shut down its false alarm right now. It forcefully pulls your wandering, terrified mind directly back into present physical reality. Next, you must sharply look around your quiet room. Identify 3 heavy, solid physical objects. Touch one cold, hard surface nearby. Inhale very deeply for 4 slow, deliberate seconds. Exhale entirely for 6 long, heavy seconds. You actively trick your panicked primal brain with undeniable, concrete visual and tactile signals. You concretely prove to your nervous system that you are completely safe. You forcefully strip the raw emotional power away from those fake haunting memories. You permanently tie your racing mind securely to the solid physical ground. You literally command your own biological body to fiercely protect your mental peace. You finally regain total, absolute control over your rogue neural pathways. You are the active programmer of your brain. Stop passively suffering alone in the dark. You are completely worthy. You are not fundamentally broken. Your brilliant, deeply exhausted mind merely ran a highly protective, extremely outdated survival software. You finally possess the profound clinical knowledge to completely free yourself tonight. You actively deserve deep, uninterrupted mental peace. Forgive your own struggling brain for merely trying to beautifully survive this incredibly loud, demanding modern world. Allow your tense shoulders to finally drop. Release that heavy, crushing guilt from your weary chest entirely. You are powerfully equipped with actual science now. You are deeply, truly understood here. Think of one deeply exhausted friend right now. They are secretly suffering in total, isolating silence tonight. Share this specific video with them immediately. Spread this vital, liberating neurological truth to quickly save their rapidly draining social battery. You have the immense, undeniable power to officially end their painful, silent internal torture. Subscribe to this channel to continuously empower your own beautiful, highly complex mind. We will relentlessly conquer these invisible, heavy psychological battles together every single week. You are fully, permanently liberated. Walk confidently. Breathe deeply. Rest well. Goodbye.